Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Just the reflection that I would have being here in Illinois and seeing just the, especially like Reverend Liz said, and we're in a season where it's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, but we're watching people sleep outside of police stations. We're watching them sleep on side of, the expressways, and we go about our daily lives. And I really like that you guys pulled that verse from Zephaniah, that little passage from Zephaniah, because it speaks a lot. And like she said, I think this is that season where us as a people who have been tirelessly working and fighting for the injustices of others is coming to an head. And I really, that, like she said, it gives me hope that this fight that we're doing is just not something to be, it's not getting anywhere. Right now we're in the process of trying to help in Illinois, and Weber may speak a little more on this. We're trying to get tents that were stolen a couple of weeks ago from some of the homeless in one of the encampments in Humboldt Park. We're trying to get them tents back, and we're also trying to figure out why they were taken in the first place, because they have nowhere else to go. And then you take their homes, what they know as home, and the only things they own, and you discard them. And then they're just left there. And it's like, where's the humanity in that, and being in a season of giving and, a season where we're all supposed to be loving and happy and joyous, you're taking the little that these people have, the little dignity, the little self that they have, and you're destroying it. And it's just, I feel like right now is the time where we definitely have to call them on their stuff. You guys live in nice homes, you drive nice cars. Being a former homeless person, and then when we're out there trying to get the help, those who are a little better than us or a little well off than us, they look at us like we're less than, and it's like, oh, it's your fault that to be told when you ask for help, well, maybe you should have did this a little better. And honestly, you could have followed everything to the T, and life just happens, or your luck changes. Like in that scripture, all the money, you can have all the money in the world, and if it's that time for you to, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do with it, God will take it. And then what are you supposed to do? Say, hey, it's just a lot. So I really appreciate that passage that was given, and I'm excited to be here with you guys in this fight tonight.
Thank you for having us tonight. Like like Tony said, my name's Weber. I use they them pronouns. I'm based in Chicago with the Illinois Union of the Homeless, part of the National Union. I wanted to first just lift up a few of the events the ways that we recognize and carry out the Winter Offensive here in Illinois. December 10th is the 75th anniversary of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, in which, and the United States signed on to that. And one of the rights in Article 25 is the right to housing and healthcare, and it specifically states regardless of disability, unemployment, old age, or circumstances beyond one's control. So it's really recognizes that it's illegitimate for there to be, in city of Chicago, one of the wealthiest cities in the wealthiest country in the world, for us to have over 70,000 unhoused individuals going into winter, and we have one of the coldest winters of any major city around the country. And so we use that day to lift up and legitimize our fight and show others, because like Natalie said, people have a tendency to blame themselves for the situation that they're in. If when I find myself with enough relationship to ask a homeless individual why did they think that they're homeless or why they think they're in the situation, they'll list 9 times out of 10 the first 5 things that they say are reasons about themselves. It's I lost my job, or I had a substance issue, or I fell out of a relationship. And people have this societal tendency, and it's a pandemic to think that our struggles and our poverty is something that's intrinsic. So December 10th is a day we can recognize that as a. Oh, thank you, Sabina. I see you putting in the chat. Yes, these are all the winter actions around we take that we do the dates that we do actions around. So yeah, I wanted to lift up that, and I also wanted to lift up that we're in Chicago. We're in a season where for the last year and a half there have been waves and waves of immigrants seeking asylum in our country who are being out of a political motivation of the wealthiest people and the most powerful class being sent to Chicago because Chicago is a sanctuary city, and these people are being used essentially as pawns where they're sending them here because they want to basically create an environment of political chaos where poor people who have lived here for a long time and experienced systemic poverty have to fight for resources or feel like we have to fight for resources with people who are just being sent because they're fleeing poverty in their own country. And we of course know that the poverty in their country is directly a result of this government's international foreign policy. So that's another major struggle that we're involved in is trying to figure out how can we build relationships between poor immigrants who are homeless, sleeping in police stations or in tents outside of police stations, as with the homeless people in parks who have been in tents and shelters for years, especially in an environment where now the shelters are completely full to the brim, and as winter approaches, people's it's going to be a life or death struggle for many folks. So I'm really grateful to be here with you all. It's beautiful to be in a place where we're connecting on the basis of spiritual and faith as a way to strengthen our struggle because of how emotionally charged this battle is in caring for the poorest among us. So thank you for having me.